Hi y'all, I'm Brenda with Blessings and Bread, and welcome to my kitchen. I hope you're having a great day. I know I am having a great day. Any day I'm in the kitchen baking is a great day for me. And today I'm in the kitchen baking cinnamon raisin yeast bread. This is one of my favorite yeast breads to make. I love this. And really one of the good things about it is nobody else in the house likes it. So I get to eat the whole loaf. And it doesn't help my chubby cheeks, but it sure is delicious. And I hope you'll come along with me while I make cinnamon raisin yeast bread. The very first thing that we're going to do today is we're going to bloom our yeast. I'm using instant active yeast today. I like the instant yeast. It just speeds the process up. You can use regular yeast, but I prefer this because the rising period or proofing time is cut in half using this. Now I have heated my water to around between 105 and 110, and I believe it was right about 110 a few minutes ago. So keeping my water the right temp and videoing can sometimes be a challenge, but let's do a final check. Make sure at least 105. If it's not at least 105, it will not bloom your yeast. If it's more than 10 to 15, it will kill the yeast, actually. So I'm going to get about 108. And for years, I didn't use a thermometer, and I did not have good success because I could never quite tell. It'll just say use hot water or warm water, and I was never quite sure what that was. So I think I killed my yeast a lot in the past. But I'm going to pour this water into this bowl, and then I'm going to just sprinkle the yeast on top, and I'm just going to use this fork to kind of stir that in. And then we're going to need to leave this here for about 5 to 10 minutes to let it bloom. Now, this step, the reason I do this step, some people skip this step, but I always like to do this because I can make sure that this yeast is still active. The date says it's good. I'm going to get all that yeast out of that package. It does like to cling to the insides of the package with static electricity, so get it all out of there. And then, like I said, just mix it into the water, and then we're just going to let this sit here for about 10 minutes. I usually give mine 10 minutes, and then we will know for sure that our yeast is good. All right, so we'll be back when this yeast has bloomed. I forgot one thing I was supposed to do that, but I did remember just in time. This is the sugar that I've measured for my bread, but I'm just going to put a little sugar, which is the food for this yeast, into this yeast. That'll give it a little food and a little energy to help it bloom. It has been 10 minutes, and I hope you can see how much this yeast has actually bloomed. It's very, very active, and I'm excited. Now, I bloomed this yeast today in this little bowl because I wanted to be able to video it and show it to you really well. But if I were just making this at home and not trying to make a video, I'd have actually bloomed my yeast in my mixing bowl. So now I'm going to transfer this to my mixing bowl, and then we're going to begin making yeast bread. Today I'm going to make my yeast bread actually in my stand mixer. You can definitely do this recipe by hand and knead it by hand, but because we're going to knead in the raisins, this is just a little easier. So I thought I would show that today, making it in my mixer. And I'm going to start with the paddle attachment because I want to kind of get the bread mixed first, and then we'll switch to the dough hook when we begin to knead the bread. So I'm going to start with a 1/4 cup of softened butter, not melted, but softened. And then I'm going to add 3/4 of a cup of milk that's warm. Make sure, though, that your milk is warm, but not over 110 degrees. Again, it will actually kill the yeast. All right, next we're going to add go ahead and add in the raisins. Now, you really can add the raisins in now, or you can add them in as you need. But I like to add mine in just at the beginning. Just go ahead and put those in there. And then we're going to add the sugar. And I'm adding 1/4 of a cup of sugar. And the salt, and it's a teaspoon of salt. And then the last thing I'm going to add is 2 teaspoons of actual cinnamon. So now I'm going to mix all of that together in my mixer. And then we'll begin to add a little flour. All right. Now I'm going to go ahead and put in about 2 cups of flour. Just to get a kind of sticky batter going. Or a sticky dough, I should say, I guess. And as you can see, we just kind of have a sticky dough in there for now. All right. But I think I'm going to go ahead now at this point, now that this is kind of all mixed, the only thing we have left to add is our flour. So I'm going to go ahead and lower my mixer and change out my paddle, my mixing paddle for my dough hook. Again, you definitely can make this recipe by hand. You do not have to have a mixer to do this again. All right, we're going to attach the dough hook. And continue mixing. And then we're just going to gradually keep adding flour. This recipe, I'm only making 1 loaf, and it calls between 3 and 4 cups of flour, or 360 to 420 grams of flour. And I've already measured that out. So I'm just adding flour till my dough releases pretty much from the edges of the mixing bowl and is no longer really sticky. I'm going to stop. You can see now it's definitely made a ball, and we're going to do that window pane test and see. It's still pretty sticky. Now, as you notice, it's tearing. And what I want it to do, I want it to be where I can pull it thin enough that light passes through it and it doesn't tear. And that's the window pane test. So I'm going to keep going. I just did a window pane test. It's still not ready. My dough is now ready. It passed the window pane test, and I'm now going to put this dough into a bowl that I have added a little olive oil to, and then I made sure that all the sides of this pan or this bowl have been oiled. Now we're going to put the dough into this bowl. And I put it down, and then I'm going to flip it over. so that the top part is greased as well. And now I'm going to set this aside. I'm going to cover it. I cover mine with these little disposable shower caps I found at Walmart, and I spray the outside with a cooking spray so it won't stick to my dough, and then I just turn it over with the spray side down, and I'm going to put this in my oven and proof it till it doubles in size. It takes about 1 hour, and I will what I do is I heat my oven to 170 degrees, and I did that like before I even started mixing it. As soon as my oven came to 170 degrees, I turned it off. So I'm gonna set this in my oven along with a bowl of steaming hot water, which I'll place underneath the bread dough on the bottom shelf or on the bottom of my oven, so that it'll have a little moisture in there while it is proofing. So basically, I'm gonna turn my oven into a little proofing box for my bread dough. So we'll be back in about an hour, and we'll be ready to go to the next stage, which is to shape your loaf. My bread has definitely doubled in size. It took a little longer today. I don't know if it's just cooler in my house or what, but it took a little longer today than an hour. But I'm ready now to shape into my loaf and put it into the loaf pan. So we're gonna start by deflating this, and I'm just gonna kind of pull it in there, and then we're gonna put just a little bit of flour on my breadboard here, just a little bit, and then I'm going to turn it out onto the flour. And then very gently, I just want to, basically, I'm going to let it set here and rest for 15 minutes. And this isn't always in a lot of bread videos or a lot of bread things, but the next 15 minutes, I'm going to let it rest so that it will be easier to shape into a loaf. So we're gonna cover this so it won't dry out and give it a 10-minute nap, and then we'll be back and finish shaping our loaf. My dough has been laying here resting, taking a little nap since I took it out of the proofing bowl, and now I'm going to make it into a rectangle, and then we're going to shape it into a loaf. So, use my hands, but you can also use a rolling pin just to lightly. You don't want to push all the air out of it and squash it hard, but I want to roll it out till it's about about the width of this pan. So I'll make a good full loaf. All right, now I'm going to actually shape the loaf. And I'm going to start by, you can just roll this really tightly, but I learned a little trick from a video I watched online by Betty Baker. And you take these top two corners and you just pull them in, and then you roll that over. And this is just going to help to build some tension into your loaf of bread. So I'm going to do that again, but I want to keep rolling it tight because I don't want to end up with any air pockets in my bread. And I'm going to do that little trick, folding it in 3 times. And now I'm just going to finish rolling my bread. And then I'm going to pinch the seams together on each end, and then pinch on each end. Then I'm going to take my loaf pan, which is already greased with some shortening, and I'm going to put my loaf in there seam side down, and then I'm going to just press it down lightly. So that it kind of fills up the pan. All right, so now we're going to let this sit in this pan again till it doubles in size. So we will see. It does feel to me like it doesn't have as much air in it as my loaves normally do. So I'm kind of curious on this one how it's going to turn out. But I'm going to cover it again, just using the same cover I used before. This time though, I'm not going to put this in the oven. I have already started my oven preheating. I want my oven to preheat the whole time this is rising. So we're going to set this aside, and hopefully it's going to rise quick. In about an hour, it should double in size. My bread has been now proofing again for an hour in the loaf pan, and it's definitely doubled in size. We've got it crowning over the top of the pan, so it's ready to go in the oven. So I'm going to put this in the oven. I'm going to be baking it at 350 degrees for about 30 to 35 minutes. So I'm going to check it after 35. I basically will always check my bread using my thermometer, and the bread should be 200 degrees when it's done. So we'll just put it in the oven, and I'll be back when this bread is baked and cooled and ready to be sampled. My cinnamon bread is now out of the oven. It took a little bit longer to cook today than it normally does, but I'm ready to slice into this loaf, and let's see how the crumb looks and just how this loaf turned out. It took a little longer on the first proofing today, so I am curious what the crumb and how it's going to look. Feels fairly tender. I do have a little cavity there, and that's probably a result of me not shaping the loaf as tight as I should. But let's take a look at the crumb. Well, it looks pretty good. I'm pretty excited to try this loaf of bread. I am ready to give this delicious bread a try. It's got a great crumb. It's very tender. This bread is really delicious. I love this recipe. It's got the perfect amount of cinnamon in it, and I love the raisins. Everybody won't like this bread, but if you like cinnamon raisin toast or cinnamon raisin bagels or cinnamon raisin bread, this absolutely is the best recipe that I've found, and I highly recommend it. I hope you've enjoyed this video of me making this yeast bread. This was the second one I've made in my series on yeast bread, and I've got a few more up my sleeve that I plan to make too. But I hope you enjoyed this one on cinnamon raisin bread, and I will see you the next time I'm in my kitchen, on my porch, or in my garden.